Welcome to Old School RuneScape Market Pulse, Woodcutting and Fletching, July 15th. The dominant story this week is a broad sell-off in high-tier logs and bows. Redwood logs are down 1% week on week, and sitting at just the 7th percentile, 7% below year-ago prices. Mahogany and Teak logs are even deeper in the hole, both down roughly 67% on the week and sitting at 1st and 5th percentile respectively, each off over 40% versus a year ago. Magic logs joined the carnage at 823 GP, an all-time low 3rd percentile. Nearly everything is cheap right now. The lone bright spot is longbow, up 8% week on week at 507 GP, though still only the 40th percentile. 4 methods are profitable right now. That's a solid market for flippers. Top of the list, stringing longbow into longbow nets 140 GP per bow, or roughly 224,000 GP per hour at level 70. That's also your best XP rate in this tier, at 108,000 XP per hour. For lower-level players, maple logs into maple longbow is a standout value, 13 GP in, 88 GP out, 575% margin, generating 120,000 GP per hour at only level 55. Magic longbow stringing comes in at 118,000 GP per hour, with the highest XP rate of the group at 146,000 per hour, but the tightest margin at just 7%. Zooming in on one chart, Magic shortbow is near the cheap end of its own history, at the 0th percentile of every price it's ever traded at, and it's still sliding. The callout shows today's price, the daily move volume, and where it sits one to watch for a bounce. Logs have a clear seasonal tailwind heading into August. The historical index for generic logs shows a 2% expected rise over the next 2 months. July is a trough. August and September are strong. Teak logs have a similar pattern, peak historically in August with a projected 5% seasonal lift. The problem is the structural downtrend is fighting that tailwind hard. Teak is already down 41% year on year. Mahogany shows a milder 7% seasonal bump expected. Bows, Magic shortbow and Magic longbow are seasonally flat, essentially no monthly signal either direction. This is the most important slide today. We have 4 all-time lows hitting simultaneously. Magic longbow at 104 GP, Magic longbow at 837 GP, Magic logs at 823 GP, and longbow at 186 GP. These aren't just low, they're historic lows. Bow string, meanwhile, is at its 100th percentile, the richest it has ever been. That's the squeeze. Stringing costs are at peak while bow outputs are at floor. Margins only survive right now because raw log costs have collapsed alongside. Bull case, 4 all-time lows in one session is a capitulation signal. With seasonal tailwinds for logs kicking in through August and a profitable stringing margin still intact, a mean reversion bounce, especially in Mahogany and Teak, is plausible over the next month. Bear case. The year-on-year declines of 40% plus in Teak and Mahogany suggest a structural supply glut, not a dip. Bow string at max means input costs stay elevated, and with no JJX news on the horizon, there's no catalyst to absorb excess log supply. 3 predictions today. First, Mahogany logs recover to 195 GP by August 12th, a 17% move off the 167 GP floor, supported by the seasonal August tailwind and a 1st percentile starting point. Confidence. Low, the structural trend is brutal. Second, Teak logs reach 122 GP by August 12th, a 14% rise, aligned directly with the seasonal index peak in August. Also low confidence given the year-on-year damage. Third, longbow bounces to 215 GP by July 30th, a 16% move from its all-time low of 186 GP, driven by mean reversion and the active stringing margin pulling demand. Medium confidence. No prior predictions to resolve yet. This is our baseline episode. We'll hold these calls accountable in 2 weeks. That's your woodcutting and fletching pulse for July 15th. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.